Alright, I'm just about finished here now. You do want to keep your steel wool wet while you're working at this so you don't scratch your bottle. I make sure that I go around and that I do inside all of the little crevices where the top goes on and stuff. The reason for that is because a little dust and sand and stuff will get in there. Keep that from ruining the canteen down the road. But there you can see this is as good as new, and just takes a few minutes, not a long time. I'll rinse that off under clean water when we get back in the house, and also clean the inside out real good. Do the same thing, put a rag inside. While I'm at it, I do the top again up where the seal is. Check that. Do outside. I'm not worried about getting the rope wet because I'm going to let this dry out in the sun. I also check this seal. Inside here there's a little ring. It's a little O-ring. Check that ring just to make sure that it's clean, that there's no grit under it, so it makes a good seal next time. I don't always take it out, but you can if you want to. My stuff sack, just stuff in here, clean it off. These are waterproof stuff sacks. They're pretty good little things. Then I'll take that in, rinse it in some fresh water, and let it dry as well. The next item that I'm going to take care of, I've got the cup all rinsed off and stuff, is my saw. This was used. What I'm going to do is just wipe this down with the crazy cloth, and that'll take anything off of there really fast, and I'll show you that better on the knife. You got to kind of go with the teeth here so you don't rip your cloth up. This cloth is impregnated with a material, and don't forget the handles when you're cleaning your gear also, because they gather dirt and dust. People say, you know, why do you clean your stuff so well? You know, the longevity of it. For example, here I clean my canteen so that it's brand new. People say, you don't have to do that, leave it black on the outside. But bacteria gathers, especially up around these rings. And now I go to drink from that, I could get sick. So I like to keep my equipment clean. Next thing are the two knives that I used in the bush. And on this trip I took my Mora. So I just take the Mora, again take the crazy cloth, just wipe it down. Now this cloth is oiled, so it oils my knife for me. Clean the grit out from down where the handle hits the hilt. Come back, clean the handle off. I'll also clean the sheath out where there might be dust or grime in there. And if it's really bad inside, I'll go ahead and wash the inside, let it dry, and spray a little WD-40 in there. But it's not terrible in here right now, so not to worry. Clean that sheath off a little bit, and we're ready to go. This is my everyday carry knife, so I keep this quite often in this kind of shape to start. The other knife that I took with me was my Tops Anaconda, and you can see if you can get some of that dirt that's on there from batoning. This crazy cloth will just take that right off. And it's not just leaving an oil stain on there, it's actually cleaning this. Clean the edge of the blade. And again, now you can see the difference. Takes all those marks right off. This is the first thing I've found that will actually take these marks off of the knife. And again, I do this to keep my knife in good repair. Don't have to do it, I suppose, folks, but I like to keep my stuff where it's looking good, looking new. So there you go. Takes about 5 minutes. Do my handle. Make sure I get all the sweat off my handle, because of course when you're out there working, your hands are sweating, and that salt can destroy things over time, especially metal. So I want to make sure I do all the metal edges, back where the tang comes through, the butt. Do the knife one final time. Make sure the sheath is in good repair. I'll check my Velcro to make sure there's no kind of plants or fuzz or anything on the Velcro so it sticks well. And then I can put my knife back in, but before I do, I want to take and just make sure my blade is sharp. Run it a few passes over top of my stick here, this ceramic rod that I use quite often. And that's razor sharp. I don't know if it'll shave. Yeah, there you go. Shave. And that's coming out of the bush. So that's all it takes, folks. Just a few minutes to clean your equipment. Keep it in good repair. I also will check the outside of my sheath because I do carry a couple things. And inside there are items I know that I used on the trip. There's a Ferro rod, and I won't worry too much about working with that Ferro rod. But if I used it a lot and I wasn't going to use it for a long time again, I would cover this with some fingernail polish to stop it from rusting. But I will clean off the striker. Just has a little bit of char on it. Clean that off, it'll oil it, keep it in good repair. And the other thing I have is my sharpening stone. I didn't sharpen out there this time, but if I did, this is a diamond stone. I would just wipe this off with some water on a cloth, get the black off of there, which is all your metal shavings. Wipe the edges down, and then I'd set that aside to dry with my other gear for a few minutes. Wipe the leather off with this cloth, which has oil in it. And there we go. My keychain, just wipe that off. I wear it every day anyway. Some of the things on here are a little ratty because I wear them every day. But just clean everything out the same way. And it's good to do this once a week for gear that you carry on your belt. Now, if you're going to ask about the hammock, let me tell you, when we were out there, we had some varied temperatures. One of the things that happened was it was about 90 to 95 during the day and very humid. We were camped right on a river. So during the day, if we laid in our hammocks, they got sweaty. And even in the evening, at night, it froze. It went down to about 50 degrees, not freezing, but pretty cold for just having a sweatshirt on. So my hammock got sweat from my body on the hammock. So what I'll do, I'll take the hammock out of the bag, and I suppose you could put these through a washing machine. I don't like to do that because of the wear and tear on the material. So I'll just take it out of the sack, I'll hang it up, I'll wash it off with a damp rag and possibly a little bit of a detergent if there's a stain. There isn't on this. But I'll rinse it off to get that salt off it, soak it good, hang it out to dry. And again, I'll not do that on the video to save time, but I'll do the same thing with that in my tarp. And then everything will be ready. Stuff it back in, and you're ready for your next trip. The last thing that we want to be aware of taking care of is our pack itself. You can see on the pack there's some dirt spots. I'll go back, just take my damp rag. This is not the wet rag, it's just a damp rag. Wipe any kind of spots off there, specifically on the bottom. I usually hang my packs out in the bush. We make a tripod or hang them on a tree. But this bottom, we set down on the ground when we stop, when we're braking. And also, just check the edges. I want to check for any tears that may have occurred in the pack. And I can go back, I can clean any kind of debris out of here. If there's little spots, clean it up. Another thing that I'm doing as I do this is checking for ticks that may be on my pack as well. Check to make sure that my equipment is still in good shape. My thermometer doesn't have any breaks. The compass is still pointing north. My pacing beads are in good shape. The cordage is strong enough to hold them where I need them to be. Everything's secure. My snap links work. And finally, check out my light. My light works. Wipe that off just to get any grit off of there. And there we go. Folks, that's how I take care of my equipment. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes at the end of a trip. But you know what? Clean gear is gear that will last you for a long time, and it's well worth doing. So if you're wondering why my gear doesn't look used, that's the reason. My things come back looking like they came from the factory. For the most part, you're never going to get everything off. And over a useful period of time, sure, they're going to wear out, they're going to get little scratches and things. But you can keep your gear in good repair if you just take a few minutes. This is David Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Do look for that video that we'll be putting out in a day or two on the minimalist camp. It was an awesome time. We've got about 130, 140 pictures that we're going to edit down into some shots on a video and put up for you to enjoy what we enjoyed. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.